For the question case, as far as I did have my channel for 3 years. Some of the pros and cons were, it's kind of funny because when you learning about the process, it's kind of slow. But one of the things that I actually appreciate is, the people that you get to meet in this space who what you're doing is, you're learning from them. Like one of the people who I learned from the most was actually Savvy Saps. And she taught me a lot, especially in what to do, best practices and things like that. But then you still run into mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made, one of the cons I ever made, is that once you're part of a platform, you have to go by their rules and their terms of service. Even though you're not meaning to do anything wrong, they still have stipulations, especially within the system. And so, one of the biggest issues that I had to face was last year on October 7th, the Operation Al Aqsa flood happened, where the Palestinian resistance went against, Israel. And that same morning that it happened, I actually made the plan to talk about it on my show that following Tuesday on October 10th. That same day, I lost my monetization because of YouTube's policies and how they're very tied to the imaginary state. So with that being said, that's one of the things that you have to worry about is that you are constantly tied to, the whims of the platforms that you're on. The benefits, though, is that you get to represent a voice, especially if you're somebody that's marginalized. You get to represent a voice and perspective that people really don't get to hear. And that's one of the things that I actually appreciate is that I get to have wear these different hats that I have, but I actually get to put these ideas out there as much as I would like to. Another, con about it is when people see you on screen, they think you got money. One of the benefits of being on here is you actually get to essentially be your own business owner, right? And you get to call your own shots. But at the same time, the growth can either be fast or slow. I would like my growth to be a little bit faster, but I don't want it to be too fast because if it's too fast, then you start to smell your own self. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the biggest issues that I think that is, it's kind of like it's kind of here and there. Um, Another thing, another, pro to being in this space is you get to see a lot of what goes on in the background and you start to notice what people say and what they don't say. Right. And then it's like, it's interesting because when you get to find out, you'll listen to people who do the same work that you do and you start to notice they're being kind of fake or they're being really genuine or they're avoiding to say something because they don't want to get in trouble or they're avoiding to say something because they don't want to seem wrong or because it's their ego or whatever. You start to notice these little things and it's really interesting, because in a sense I'm a bit of I kind of like the social sciences a little bit, even though I'm not really deeply into them. I like them a little bit. So yeah, I think that's really good. That's a really good question. But yeah, I honestly would love to continue in this space. I feel like I found what I was supposed to. I'm a communicator. I got a big mouth, so that's what I like to do. But there are some of the pros and cons. I may come out with some more pros and cons too because I need to talk about this. But there's definitely some pros and cons to this space. But it's definitely more pro than con. I will definitely say that. And my best recommendation to anybody as well is if you want to get into this space, get into it, but get into it with the knowledge and the hope that you're pushing forward a relevant and good message that will help the masses. Try to do it not just for yourself, but for other people to help them. Not, do it in some individualistic way to try to just self-aggrandize yourself, but do it, for, helping others, because then you'll actually find more purpose in that than doing it just for yourself. So thanks.